And good evening. This is the 31st of May, and it's still going down like it just was back on the 27th. So, there we are. So, what can I say about this? Well, the National Guard came in, and apparently in Minnesota they're armed. I don't know. What does that mean? Well, they have a weapon. Does it mean it's loaded? Probably not. But I am willing to assume that it is. Case in point, the National Guard, I think the Minnesota National Guard, asked the governor if they could actually have weapons with them, and they said, okay, well, yes, which is surprising because if you notice throughout the riots, they didn't have their sidearms with them. They didn't have, well, some of them didn't have AR-15s or whatever rifle they were using for the police department, and well, they were the airmen and the soldiers are allowed to carry weapons because they're guarding like the state house, and they're accompanying fire trucks to certain areas. So, interestingly enough, I'm kind of listening to the police scanner, and so yeah, there's not. I think there was a bunch of stuff going on in Philadelphia because I want to see Philadelphia riots 2020. Let's see if I can get not authoritative source. I don't see it. Some of it was 2 days ago. I think I need to filter it out. I need it to be today. I hate this. I hate what YouTube does this. They try to force, the mainstream media on you, and you really gotta dig deep in there to find. Let's see that one. Let's check this one out. Holy crap. That car is trashed. Wait a minute. There's no one in the car. No way. Maybe there's somebody. No, there was nobody in the car. Holy smokes. Oh no. How did the police just allow that to happen? Well. So yeah, whoa. Yikes. That looks like a medic bag, and they're taking that. Guy gets a pair of bolt cutters there, smashing stuff.
Yeah, I was working, I was lurking, always yapping.
Uh-oh. Okay, there was that. Nice. DW News. Let's see what this guys are saying. Nope. So, there you go. Burned out police car. Graffiti.
Again, I'm getting information that they're still throwing bottles at 47 and Prairie, and Zone 5 is asking for help.
The thing is that I mentioned this before. Here's the interesting thing: is that all this is taxpayer money that they're just. It's like.
190, you hit your.
Yeah, they don't care. Obviously, they're going through their looting the crap out of everything. This was last night, obviously. And then she's twerking.
They're saying there are looters at 47
Okay.
and Cottage. 190.
Oh, they cleaned out the Apple Store. Wow. Okay, let's pause that here. That's from KTLA. They're that's the National Guard, obviously. And
All right, the group is at the intersection of
what's interesting
35th
about
and
this,
State.
I'm
We
looking at
have
these
bikes on
guys
both
down
sides,
there,
and
and they
salt
look
trucks
like
are
heavy
blocking
hitters.
southbound.
They don't look like your fat National Guardsmen usually.
And again, it's
I'm well
190 on
versed in
Citywide 6.
LA.
Hit your
I used
emergency
to
button.
my family used to live up there, and so I'd always obviously go up there and you know, that's just an amazing thing to see. Humvees in the city. That's just amazing. And a convoy.
190 Frank.
But that's the thing about the National Guard. I don't know what their rules of engagement are. I'm sure it's a little more intense than the police, because if you notice, the police,
All right, they're gonna move
other than a
two
few
of these salt trucks
instances where they
to
were,
get them to block
punching and
southbound
kicking
State.
people, and they didn't really, they sort of took the brunt of the anger and the strife right thrown in their faces. You know, even that someone threw an actual firework mortar at them, and it just boom, blew it up, and the news media goes, "Oh yeah, that was just a firecracker." Firecracker. Firecracker.
2550 just hit their emergency button.
No, I don't think so. Let's see here. That's one day ago. White supremacist rioting in Philadelphia. What? I don't think so, pal. Yeah, you get a dislike, douche. Those weren't white supremacists. Yeah, it's the same car that was being not driven, but just pushed into another car. Yeesh.
Who is trying to come in?
Let's see that one.
190 Frank to the move.
That's a police car on fire right in front of a
100
Family
X-ray for a moment.
Dollar. Okay.
100 X-ray. Hey, you want to move these salt trucks
Well,
that are at 35th and State?
and that's not a body. I think that's a
couple of them get just backed off and
some
block
wreckage.
access, and then we were like
I don't, the thing is, I don't understand why the police would drive their cars in a position where they're going to get attacked and burned and get, and trashed. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know. A lot of these riots are not making any sense. But here we are.
6223 George.
6223 George.
So we got flagged down by there's some individuals on the east side of State Street by Kinsey who are mixing up some chemicals or something on the side of the road, like three males wearing black hoodies. I think some cars are close to them right now.
Yeah, there's a ton of people who've got like
All
the
right,
split screens of
6223 George is getting information
different
from a
cities being
citizen that
ransacked.
on the east side of
And
State and Kinsey,
like this
there are
right here,
three
this is
males
LA.
in black hoodies mixing
Not sure
up
what
some
part.
sort of chemicals. Do I have some units over there?
Most likely it's Orange County, maybe. I don't know. But damn.
You cut out.
Yes,
Who do I have going over to
that's-
State Kinsey for these three males?
That's the interesting thing. Koof and Channel X is that riders can be tracked by cell phone GPS tracking and cell phone tower locations later for prosecution. Yeah, and in Minnesota they're also getting tagged with paint pellets so they can track them later and kind of follow them. So they're using Twitch, so see what locations are popping. The user is woke. He has 9 feeds up. Yeah.
6752 checking it out also 10-4.
Woke. What the heck? Get out of here.
Platoon 2, Adam.
They're delayed by 15-20 seconds. Yeah. I'm not sure what the rules on showing,
Anybody that can help out with jumper
KTLA
cables
5
at Canal and
on
Kinsey
YouTube.
for Platoon 2, Adam.
So,
they have a vehicle that died.
Who knows?
Jumper cables, anyone, Canal and Kinsey, please.
Maybe if I'm commenting on it, If you want commentary, here's some commentary.
Is there somebody coming in that can help them?
This one was today. Okay. Yeah, this is just more video of.
Cables that can help out at Canal in Kinsey with a car with platoon 2
So he stole a police hat, policeman's hat. What the hell? Oh, he's puncturing the tires. Okay. Jeez.
Was that 6212 coming in?
What the heck?
6752.
Why?
You said it was unfounded?
Yeah, I've seen these all day. They just kind of leave them up
okay.
and kind of run. So I don't know
And platoon
if they'll
2.
copyright claim
Car
these
43,
later.
go ahead.
I don't think they'll go copyright strike, but I think they'll do a copyright claim. I don't make any money from YouTube as of yet, so there is that.
Move up to the parking lot of De La Salle High School. At that whole line, move up to just to the parking lot of the De La Salle High
But
School.
yeah, that okay. That's.
All right, for the group at headquarters, the line that's facing westbound at 35th.
So yeah, so I don't. If they copyright claim me, it's like whatever.
De La Salle High School. The whole line is to be moved up to the parking lot at De La Salle.
You know, I don't. I think in my I did a video today. Because I didn't do one yesterday because I was indisposed. Let's just say. But I was just talking about each side's doubling down. You know, the police will double down, the protesters will triple down, then the police will quadruple down. It's a cascade. It's just going out of control now. And I was saying both sides need to go to a neutral corner and talk it out, but you know that's not going to happen. I mean, I'd like it to happen, but it is what it is.
43.
But using live rounds on people.
Have that line that I just moved come all the way up. Have them come all the way up to State Street. All right, they're gonna back these officers up here all the way up.
So I'm watching this one stream in Austin.
All right, for that line on
There's a
35th
ton of
Street
people
that
there.
just moved,
And again, I just have to mention,
that line to come all the way up. He wants it to come
most
all
of
the way
these
up.
really bad riots are happening in cities run by Democrats for decades, even half of a century. Even.
Is there somewhere I can call you? I don't really want to.
I don't know, is it a coincidence that it's like this? I don't know. Maybe. But who knows? I mean, it's just one of those...
CD2.
As you can see here, we got the...
Yeah, here's the number to call. 773-573-0912.
The police, he's got that 40 millimeter
6751, did you copy that?
rocket, I guess. No, it's a grenade launcher, and yeah, it's a whole other line impersonating a police officer. Yeah, it really is, because they were, when you saw that guy, he was wearing a hat. I mean, he obviously wasn't wearing a uniform, and obviously he wasn't a cop. He still stole the hat, and he was still, puncturing the tires and doing all this other stuff. So I don't know what's going on. So there is that.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, there's not really anything crazy going on right now. A lot of these people are breaking curfew, but there's so many people there, you can't arrest 500 to 1,000 people breaking curfew. Now, if you split them apart with tear gas and make them run away, you can sort of corral a few up and get them. But I don't know if it's worth the time and effort with the cops to do that. Okay, as you see there, looks like there's, I think that's CS gas smoke, and then you got Karen in the middle of the street, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Fire on the CTA platform at 47th Street on the Green Line, just east of Prairie. We'll notify fire.
Also, there's a fire at a train station, I guess. Yeah, it says Ricci Canyon Road, Fire Department activity at Manton Road, Sierra Highway both ways, Fire Department activity from Sierra Cross Avenue to Linda Vista Street. Okay.
For the officers on the line at 35th. The officers on the line at 35th and State on the south.
And that's the thing.
East corner.
If this is going on, why are you going out in it?
Subjects there that we're just having
I
a
wouldn't.
meeting behind the salt trucks discussing, options for this. So have the officer.
Let's see. What else can I...
You may have some agitators in that little spot, that little pocket.
At 35th and State, southeast corner in the bus shelter, 4 meeting
some
behind
guy's
the
getting
salt
arrested.
trucks if someone can check them out.
Oh,
3793. We'll send us to take a look.
they're not resisting, which is good on them. But
Have the guys on the line be aware spot for some agitators.
we got some agitators.
195, we have anyone from
Notice how they're not calling them rioters? I'm not sure why. Maybe agitator's a nice PC word of saying douche canoe. Who knows? I wouldn't know. Of course.
1800 X-ray.
Oh, man.
1800 X-ray.
I gotta find a way to put the chat in the on the screen, so it'll, I know there's a way of doing it. I'm just lazy, and I kind of I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to do that if I'm gonna start reporting on these riots and giving commentary, because it's Colorado Street. I think I know where that's at.
All units on State Street, anyone on State Street, no foot traffic out the Kinsey,
So
no foot traffic
right
out
now
the
this is
Kinsey
good
unless they
optics
live
right here in the
area.
center. The police are arresting him, and they didn't pound him on the pavement.
Try that again.
So that's good. Good optics. Wonder what they did to get arrested though.
719.
Don't know.
from the intelligence section.
190 Frank was asking if anyone from intelligence was on this.
Well, that's the thing about, government stimulus. If they give you money, guess what? You're going to have to pay that crap back next year because it's income.
Hey, Grace, can you put eyes on the ground here on these, those 3 that 5 X-rays pointing out?
No, I don't. I think this will eventually burn out because you can. I mean, the will of the American people is for people to, do this sort of crap. I may be wrong, but I think they'll burn themselves out. But I could be wrong. They just continue on and,
There's smoke in the building.
burn crap up and do all sorts of nonsense.
There's smoke in the building.
So I'm trying to. Okay, that's in Santa Monica. Okay. That's right at the pier, I think, or close to it.
X-ray, where's the building?
Yeah, okay. So there's a group of people standing there. I don't know what's beyond that.
88 X-ray, smoke in the building. What's the address or the location of the building?
Huh. Interesting.
Car 9.
Where are the officers who have the keys to the wagon in front of headquarters, outside number 6115? Your raisins officers?
Alright, outside number 6115, have keys to the wagon.
Let me read
come back to
G-Man's
the front.
comment here because it's
Anyone with keys to
interesting,
the
I
wagon,
guess.
6115,
The lethal
come
cocktail,
back to the front,
financial
please.
insolvency combined with a tainted social contract. That is the heart of the conflict, seeds that were planted a long time
We're
ago.
just looking for who are
Yeah.
they? Who are they?
Okay, who's the unit that
I
has
guess,
the
I
wagon
mean,
6115 that's in front?
Sometimes I
In front
think,
of headquarters. They're looking for the keys.
just like in the, what was it, the Batman Returns, or not Batman Returns, it was the second Batman Chris Nolan movie. Basically saying some people want to watch the world burn. And I think that
They're at the, I think they're walking back out to their vehicle.
people are locked up in the moment. They're not planning a week or 2 weeks out or a month out or even by destroying the city that they live in. Because, like I said this before, do you really think Little Caesars is going to deliver pizza to your neighborhood that was just destroyed, a month or two earlier? No, I wouldn't. And if I had a business, let's say, in Minneapolis, why would I rebuild it? I'd go somewhere where it's more safe, like
What we have.
Florida. Unfortunately, Florida, you got the Florida man, and crazy crap happens there. You take the good with the bad, I guess. Oh, those are those bikes that they have right there. Those are those line bikes or whatever.
Alright,
And that's another thing. I think I did a video on this. So any like really major city in the United States has got those stupid bikes all over the place. DC is the culprit of this. And when people are done with them, they just roll them into the street or roll them into a river, whatever, just right in the Potomac. And like, I'm done with it. And you trip over him. Oh, what's this guy doing, dude? Don't antagonize him. Come on, man. That guy's gonna get lit up if he keeps Oh, they fired some more tear gas. Oh, rubber bullet. What are they? Yeah, I think those were the rubber bullets. Guy's got an over and under 40 millimeter cannon. I'll call it a cannon. A grenade launcher sounds like they're actually firing grenades, which technically they kind of are. What the? Man, they're setting up barricades and trying to get closer. Why?
3 Charlie Frank.
You see, at this point, I don't understand this whole mindset of charging up to these police. They're armed to the teeth, with less lethal, I guess. And I think that guy is either SWAT or National Guard. He's like SWAT. But he's armed with actual, pistols. So I remember watching a video about China. They got so many they don't know what to do with. Yeah. Yes, 40 millimeter smoke delivery system. Yeah, that's what we got. That's what we got going on here.
793. Whoever called out that group northbound and
just some shenanigans.
What does it look like? More protester type or spectator type?
3 Charlie Frank.
Look like more protesters. Nice, that's more. We'll reposition if need be.
Four Sam.
4 Sam.
We just that group coming northbound on Michigan.
It's 10 to 12 people.
9 Adam.
9 Adam.
So yeah, there's a guy who runs this channel called Geekcraft Studios, and he's got like this this cartoon avatar that's when he speaks his mouth moves. It's pretty funny. I was watching him. Was it the night before? And he was. That's strange. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say, because I don't live in the United States right now, but I'm not gonna say that, if I was in the States right now, I wouldn't. I don't even want to admit to it, but let's just say that I would be well prepared as well. Let's from any sort of civil unrest, if you will. So we'll just leave it like that. Because that's what I understand. What people do is like they'll admit to something like, yeah, I got a bunch of guns in the house, man. It's like, really? Why are you letting the world know this? Like on Twitter and Instagram, they'll show them shooting. It's like, come on, man.
Street on 31st, 5th Street. We're gonna stage them over there.
Plus, I've never broken into a house, so I don't. This year. Ah.
We're gonna put them on 35th for now, Cliff.
Okay, put them on 35th Street. Let's sustain on 35th Street.
Squad on at headquarters. Is there anybody over there now? Or is this a group at 31st State? I didn't catch that.
Let's see what's going on in Minneapolis right now. So yeah, so right now I think the curfew is at 6 o'clock, and these people are breaking it. But there's so many people out that it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's exactly. Speak softly but carry a big stick. Exactly. You don't I mean, you don't go out there and tell people, "Yeah, man, I'm armed to the teeth." Really? I mean, with any due diligence, someone could, find out who you are. I think. See, that's in Minnesota right now, or Minneapolis, and
someone over at headquarters. Someone over at headquarters.
They locked down the highway there. It looks like. I wonder why. Interesting. Oh yeah. So if you guys get a chance, go ahead and smash that like button, man. Ugh, can't believe I said that. Ugh, I apologize. I shall never say smash the like button again. Maybe gently press it, if you don't mind. Gently massage it, if you will.
Squad on at headquarters. Is there anybody over there now in the group at 31st State? I didn't catch that.
We have someone over at headquarters. Someone over at headquarters.
Yep, there's the LMTVs, the Humvees, desert painting, of course. Cool. Thanks, Koof1984. You are a delight. So they turning cars around now? I don't know what they're doing. Let's turn the...
We've got Boyd who's standing on top of a parking ramp with some people that were watching, just watching a peaceful march go down the interstate when this all unfolded.
Okay. Right? See what she just said there? A peaceful march walking down the interstate. Do you see anything wrong with that? I sure do. Interstates are for cars, not pedestrians. Even if it is for a good cause. Because if you want to get hit by a car, that's a good way to get hit by a car. And I was watching, God, what was it? It was in New York City. They had a police cruiser sort of nudge through a crowd, if you will. And Bill de Blasio, William Wilhelm, which is his real name, he basically said, yeah, I sort of agree with the cops. It's like, what? Bill de Blasio agreeing with the cops? Come on. What's he up to? Well, the cops in New York City don't really, for the most part, don't like de Blasio. Because he doesn't really have their back. So he's got to make sure they think he has their back or something. It just seems like a political ploy. It's not. Man, they got a nice shield wall there.
After it was barreling into that crowd and they were separating, just parting.
Yeah, it does. The Care 2.
But
it's like Karen.
He was probably going about 60, 70 miles an hour, and it looked deliberate. There's no way. You couldn't see 3,000 people.
Were you? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, my heart dropped to my stomach. I thought I was gonna witness just something massive, chaotic, which it is. But at the same time, hopefully no life was lost.
Hey, Boyd, I'm going to interrupt you. Boyd, if you don't mind.
Boyd,
let me interrupt you quick because the Minnesota Department of Public Safety just tweeted out a minute ago very disturbing actions by a truck driver on I-35W inciting a crowd of peaceful demonstrators. The truck driver was injured and taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. He is under arrest. It does not appear any protesters were hit by the truck. This is about the best case scenario.
Okay. Still, I don't know anything what happened, what she just talked about there, but let's kind of parse this a little bit. One, some people are on the street, not good. Or actually, no, the I-35 West, yeah, okay, inciting a crowd of peaceful demonstrators. Bullcrap. The rioters. At this point, I just going to assume all these people that are out, they're rioting. I don't know what else to think. See, the truck driver was injured and taken to a hospital. 9 left right injuries. He's under arrest. Doesn't appear any protesters hit by the truck. Again, what was he doing out? Did he get caught up in it? Oh, I don't know. Jeez Louise. Oh, there it is right there.
And again, from the witness reports, honking the horn, laying on the horn the entire time.
Why did he stop?
Underneath the overpass and onto 35. And of course, now you see the crowd gathering around it.
Eyewitnesses saying that people were appearing to scatter, and we've seen some video on social media.
Yikes.
It is amazing that they were able to. The word must have gone through the crowd very quickly that it was coming, because people were able to scatter, and it sounds like no one was hurt.
Well, and also the woman who Boyd had said there were motorcyclists who actually went ahead of that truck, saw it coming, heard it coming.
Yeah. Right now, what are you really protesting? Because it doesn't seem like they're getting the job done. The narrative has already been set. People are starting to like sort of turn on the protesters, rioters, if you will, because all they're seeing is people ransacking neighborhoods, setting things on fire, breaking into stores, looting them. Yeah, there may be some good people out there that just want to, have their voice heard. Yeah, that hijack of the FedEx truck last night, that was nuts. I guess someone's not getting their iPad or some crap. Oops. I'll be right back. Someone's at the door. It was looters. No, it wasn't. All right. There's that. Nothing going on. There's that.
All day when you consider the Santa Monica Police Department compared to the resources of the LAPD. There's a gap there. I'm sure that they have plans to bring in other reinforcements, and perhaps at some point, like we've been talking about, even the National Guard if it's necessary. But in this case here, this is a standoff. They are taunting these police officers. They have lost a little ground. You see some folks coming in front of the barricade. It does look like there's a mediator trying to keep them behind the barricade, but this is all an unlawful assembly at this point, and everybody here nobody here is really acting orderly. They are not exceptionally violent, but they are clearly aggressive and taunting these police officers.
You know, it's interesting that we...
Here comes another round of gas. Another round of gas shot right at the barricade, that's landing just a few feet
there's
right
like
there, and that's going to agitate that crowd once again.
So I can tell you what's going on.
That is going to definitely
it's in Santa Monica, the same around where this is right here.
towards that building. The wind is blowing
And
the smoke
it's another
towards the
part.
building.
That's the pier, the Santa
some of
Monica
that
Pier,
gas
the entrance.
will start to reach
There
that
is
crowd there
a
in just a second. Sure
group
enough,
of people
there
who
you
set
see
up
the crowd
barricades.
dispersing, the barricade
And for whatever
falling,
reason,
and,
are
the crowd
starting to
move
become
back,
a little more aggressive with the
past,
cops.
Past the pier here.
So they just
Hit you
fired
like a
tear gas
brick
at him and
wall,
just
that tear
dispersed
gas,
him.
As we saw Carlos
Not really
yesterday,
missing
you just
anything.
get even a bit
I
of a whiff of
dare I
it,
say.
and you can't open your eyes, you can hardly breathe. So yeah, look at that barricade that they had, that makeshift barricade that they had created is completely down, and we imagine they'll just continue to fire off these canisters until they can get everybody to go away.
The interesting thing is we were watching that person who was the mediator that Leanne had pointed out. He was there. He was the one that was doing a fairly successful job of getting people out from away from being in front of this barrier and getting them to get further back, which they were starting to do. But of course, when it comes to the police standpoint, the crowd was still too close. It's too large.
Uh-oh, what's
so they
going on
fired
here?
the tear gas.
Out. However, they're holding in kind of a tight group. They're continuing their protest. They're not dissipating
Why is that guy
or just completely walking away from this on their own. They're continuing that protest, which of course is going to be that's going to be
the Philadelphia
in direct conflict
stuff.
with
Let
the orders that were given for curfew in the area. So
all right, let's look at Philadelphia Fox 29. Dang it. Let's see. Philadelphia Fox 29. Huh. Let's see if they got anything live. Okay, let's see what you got.
Ready to enforce this curfew.
Stefan, we're going to ponder that exact question.
Stefan,
we
we're
are
going
going
to
to give you a break.
Oh. Let's see. They're covering LA right now, or Santa Monica, so. Yeah, let me try that. Oh, it says we'll be right back. All right. Ah, here we go. Oh, these are just peaceful protesters right here. You know, liberating shoes from a small business. That's good. They're really honoring the member of George Floyd, honoring the memory of George Floyd here. That's great. Where are the police? Police? Anybody? Yeah. There's probably a reason behind that why they don't put it on YouTube. Who knows? I don't like YouTube, honestly. And I know you're gonna ask, well, then why are you using it? Well, because I want to use their bandwidth. You know, it's sort of like a protest, if you will. You know, I know they're incredibly biased in the way they, treat. The one video I did got age restricted. I'm surprised it took them that long. But yeah, I got age restricted, and because it showed George Floyd being, essentially murdered live on camera. And I'm like, oh well. But Library and BitChute didn't do it, so that's good. Well, folks, look what we got here. Looting a small business in Philadelphia. That's really nice. Actually, they're looting 2 businesses. Great. I mean, why? Because I'm pissed that the police killed George Floyd. I need to steal these Nikes. Alright. That's kind of dumb, but whatever. Maybe I'm not catching the nuance here. Wow, they got past the security fence. Yeah, well. All these people have is a lot of time on their hands because I hate to break this to all you. I know you guys are pretty smart out there, but we're still in a pandemic too. I mean, God forbid we acknowledge that fact. Oh, and that's the other video I did. I think it was 2 days ago. Whatchamacallit. So this whole wearing a mask thing doesn't really help, according to Dr. Fauci and the New England Journal of Medicine. That's an authoritative source, if you all know. And I can use that because it was, published. And they basically said if you don't... Wearing a mask doesn't do anything. It actually may even help spread the virus because you're not wearing gloves, a gown, a face shield, and a hand washing regimen like the healthcare workers are. So again, why are we wearing it? Because he said it's a way of virtue signaling to the world that you care about the virus. Yes, Koof, you are a frickin' seer, man. Because people have all this pent up anger and rage, and of course, it cooked off, with the murder of George Floyd. And did you all see the whatchamacallit, the charging report and the autopsy report, the preliminary one? Well, the knee on his neck didn't necessarily kill him. Apparently George Floyd had coronary disease and he had a bad heart. And so he basically, what it looks like, he had a panic attack, and that's what killed him. I mean, obviously the cops doing that to him obviously pushed him over the edge. And it is what it is. So yeah, he did, that Derek Chauvin, the cop, the ex-cop, did force that on him. And, he was a huge contributing factor of his death. I don't think he'll get third-degree murder. He may get manslaughter. He may get voluntary manslaughter. Maybe that is a third-degree murder. I don't know. But I think at best he'll get 12 years in prison. Maybe. Just imagine if he gets acquitted in the court of law. Just imagine what kind of poop show that'll turn into. Just like Rodney King, after the cops were acquitted during the LA riots, he immediately went down. Man. But you gotta ask yourself, out there in YouTube land, is this helping the memory of George Floyd? Is this actually going to help, heal the wounds that the police, have, torn open? No, this is not helping out. Look at them. And you're exactly right. Per capita, police kill more white people than African Americans. However, when they kill African Americans, it's more, and it's on video, it's more, it carries more weight, I guess, if that makes sense. And the reaction is obviously, with anybody dying. Like that one cop, I think in Mesa, Arizona, where he was in a hotel and this cop had his AR-15 police issued rifle, and he was yelling at this guy, on your knees, walk, duck walk, and he just shot him to death because the guy was crying. He's like, I don't know what you're yelling, I can understand. That was on police, body cam. You know what happened to that guy? Nothing. The cop. obviously he got fired, but he's I think he's suing for damages, the cop, because he's got PTSD because he shot that guy. I mean, the police unions, man, I'm telling you, they've got some teeth when it comes to defending their own people. Yeah, just check out the First Amendment audits. Those are fun to watch. Sometimes they piss you off because the cops just violate your rights and just like smile about it. Yeah, I'm arresting you. I'm on a charge I'm just making up, and I know nothing's going to happen to me because I got qualified immunity. And they get away with it. And again, not all cops are bad. Most of them are. And the good cops, unfortunately, the good cops don't dime out the bad cops because they'll be labeled as a snitch. So, good cops, you know, they want to keep their job, and the cops that actually do turn in bad cops aren't cops anymore because... Yeah, I think I say duck walk, but he was on his knees, and it's a real famous YouTube video. Basically, that cop murdered that guy because he was just like, he didn't have, you know, he was a pest controller, and he had a pellet gun, and so some knucklehead, you know, called it in and said, "There's a guy with a gun in the hotel," and so they all freak out. So. Oh, they're looting a beauty store. Great. I'm sure that business is going to rebuild. That woman's got a bag full of loot. Yeah, this is... Okay, I'll ask the question again. What did a beauty store have to do with George Floyd's death? It didn't. Rainbow Jr.'s shoes being raided, or it was already raided. Looted, if you will, if you like that vernacular. I notice a theme in this looting situation right now. I won't say what it is, but maybe you'll figure it out. And that's the you know, this is the messed up part. Is that if these people live in that area, they just raided small businesses. And for what? I'm pissed. At what? I don't know. Yeah, it says, what worries me, he says, these groups that come down and burn a city, that city goes into lockdown. And while that's on lockdown, they move to the next city. Yeah, or they go into the suburbs or the housing developments. So, and that's the thing. It's like, try that in, you know, Texas. Yes, that was my point earlier. Is that most of these cities have been under Democratic rule for half a century or more. So, in conclusion, if you keep voting the same people in that keep allowing this crap to happen, you're the one at fault. Look at that mess. Jesus. Yeah, that's just... I'm stunned. You know. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be stunned. You know, we've seen this happen. Oh, really? So, what the Coof said here is they're popping CS gas or tear gas, whatever you want to call it, in Columbus, Ohio. Because Ohio had so much to do with the George Floyd death, they have to riot there too? Whatever, you know. Yeah, Santa Monica's getting spicy right now. Let's go ahead and mute that. Check out what's going on in yeah. This is Minneapolis.
To catch up with the governor who's supposed to speak here in about a little over 2 minutes. Are we going to go to Gordon? Is that the plan?
The heck? Come on back. Huh. Their live stream went TU, looks like. Okay. We'll come back to you. Okay, so this...
It's really sad.
Yeah, we're watching...
So not surprising.
Yeah. We're watching pictures from Sky 5 right now of people trying to kick in the front windows there at City Hall. There's about
they're at City Hall
trying to crack, who obviously have the face covered. And as they back off, we get more people just drifting by, running up, trying to do whatever they can to the building as well. We do not see a tremendous amount of police in this area, though. I know they've got their hands full down on 4th and over by Olympic, but
they broke inside.
What can you do now? Can you bring the National Guard in early, possibly, to protect some of the public buildings out there?
I think that's what's going to have to happen throughout the evening, because there's no telling how this turns at dusk. You know, this community, it cares about what we saw in Minneapolis. We care about taking care of one another, and the message is just getting lost in this moment.
God. Well, here's the governors of Minnesota.
Good evening, Minnesota. Last evening, we asked you to honor a curfew, a stay-at-home order. We asked you so that we could regain
have no idea what they're
order
thinking
on the streets, but there was much broader than that, as I mentioned earlier this morning. We asked you to help us create the space so we could have those important conversations to deal with the systemic problems that caused what you're seeing to happen. Today, tens of thousands of you took that cherished right and exercised your right to get out there and peacefully protest. You made your voices heard. You spoke loudly about the need for justice and swift justice, and you talked about the need to make meaningful change on systemic racism.
This sign,
now, I'd like to address what many of you saw within the last hour, a horrifying image on our television.
The faces she makes is just
a semi-truck illegally entering the closed freeways, appears to be with a flammable or toxic substance, driving nearly full force into a crowd of thousands of peaceful protesters.
Okay.
I've been briefed at this.
He said peaceful protesters on a freeway overpass. Do you see where the problem here is? I do.
I believe that driver was arrested. We do not have any confirmed cases of injuries.
I don't want to
some
assume
things on social
that
media that maybe
person's
several
gender.
people were taken by civilian to the hospital.
I don't know.
I can't confirm
10
that
to 1,
at
I
this
think it's a
time.
woman.
What I can
Or
tell
was
you
born
is
as
that
a
law
woman.
enforcement responded to that
I don't
situation
know.
immediately. The reason for that was to protect the peaceful
Whatever.
protesters, to make sure that that did not
Well,
happen. We
how
need to
about
clear the
do you?
bridge to ensure that
Okay, I had enough of this liberal Democrat talk. Let's see.
Heading north on Ocean, they were diverted here by the police. Now,
Oh wow, they're Wilshire
walking
Boulevard.
through a residential neighborhood here in the northern part of Santa Monica, and it's peaceful here, at least this group. I'm not quite sure what the strategy was by the police to bring these people to this section of town, but this particular group is just continuing to walk. It's mostly young people.
Peaceful.
It's peaceful, absolutely peaceful. And this is different from what we've seen in other parts of Santa Monica earlier today. For example, along Montana.
All right, well, there's that. And then this. Again. Yeah, I don't know what that truck driver's thinking. Why was he driving that? Maybe he got like freaked out. He's like, I gotta deliver this, 30,000 gallons of rocket fuel to a test site. And then Waze took him on a different path. I was like, oh no! Womp womp. Yeah, that's an annoying sound. Okay.
General Ellison. I watched him lead on the issues of civil and human rights. I watched him gain the respect of the entire United States Congress. I watched him formulate
Keith Ellison?
and think
That guy's
about
a
things
douchebag.
that at the time people said we can't do that, we can't get them done. Keith Ellison was a person there to get that.
Okay.
He understood.
Shut your mouth, you filthy Democrat. All right. Yeah. Imagine it was carrying firearms. I mean, I don't know how many trucks carry tons of firearms, but yeah, it could have been crazy. Okay, let's see here.
Where you don't usually work Monday through Friday, so this is a typically very quiet area on Sunday mornings.
Absolutely, and we knew that there was a rally that started at Montana Ocean at noon. A lot of people showed up for that, and then through.
Okay. Well, let's see what Unicorn Ride's up to.
To call me because what's pretty.
And by the way, I don't like Unicorn Ride because he's a freaking socialist douche. I'm talking about like, yes, we need to burn it down and rebuild it. I'm like, oh god, it's just one of these dudes.
It's okay, and I'll open your friends. Okay, thanks for sharing that story about it.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. People need to know about everything that's going on here, not just the violence and the riots. That like people like Unicorn. Wow, I was looking for you. Wow.
This video was shot with a potato.
Hey.
No thanks. San Francisco. Let's see what's up happening in the Poop Central. All right. All right. I think I'm on I'm on ABC 7. Yeah, the crowd's on the move. Why the hell would you get on your knees? Because if you have to get up and run real quick, you're hosed. Ridiculous. And if you notice, they're all wearing dark clothes. Interesting. I don't know if you've noticed that. think they are heading back to refuel. Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
And I can tell you in Minnesota,
like those, like the helicopters, like those, I think they're Jet Rangers or whatever. They can't. If they were flying, like I say, 80 knots forward airspeed, they could fly for maybe 3 hours. I think maybe a little less. When they're hovering, you know, and sort of orbiting an area, they're going to burn a lot more fuel for the most part, and they're only up there for like probably an hour and a half before they have to go back to refuel. God, I hate that guy, Keith Ellison. Oh my God, that guy sucks. Yeah, that is correct. I'm not gonna. I don't think I should comment on that, but yeah, there's a lot of people who whose English skills are to be desired, I guess. Yeah, I have a funny feeling that not all of them are citizens of the United States, if you get my drift. I get it. Yeah, I don't have a problem if you can't speak English. You can't speak English, you know, you're a legal immigrant. I get it. But, you should check this one out here. This is in front of the Halls of Justice. I don't know. Up in the right-hand corner. That is the National Guard there. It looks like. Behind the police. And yes, it looks like those National Guardsmen do have their M4s at the ready. Now, I don't know if they're locked and loaded, if you will, because the Army has a funny way of not doing that. I could tell you many... I spent 20 years in the Army. I could tell you many stories of guarding some really important outpost or ammo supply dump or whatever. And... what about a weapon? You don't need it. No. It's not illegal, because... even if you're not a citizen, the Constitution does apply to you. I know that seems counterintuitive, but it does. It's like, for instance, if you're like, let's just say you're even a tourist, and the cops pull you over in your car, you still have constitutional rights, and you know, just because you're not a citizen, it still applies to you in some respects. I mean, the Second Amendment obviously doesn't, but you know, the Fourth and Fifth, I think, do for the most part, relatively speaking. Oh, there's a fire there. In a is that in the building? Oh, for God's sakes, not this crap. Yeah. Someone set a fire in the building. Foreign actors, I guess, but I mean, I'm not, you know, quick truth here. I'm not a law expert here. I'm not even a constitutional scholar, but I don't know. Maybe. Is this knucklehead still talking? Yeah. I wonder if that's this here in Philly. I wonder if this is a rebroadcast of it. I don't know.
Like this, maybe an interior fire. The good news is fire department is on scene. Hopefully they'll get a handle on this real quickly. There you can see a firefighter moving up with one of his hoses. It's unclear again how this may have started.
Unclear how it
This
started?
has been one of the epicenters of the people that have been running in and out of some of these businesses and taking merchandise. And well, hopefully they'll be able to get.
I don't know. There's a lot of angry rioters around. We don't know how this fire started.
Of fires at this scene. However, as we came over the top, we did not see any fire. Perhaps fires had begun and just went out on their own, or they were quickly extinguished. But this one looks like is really taking hold right now, and the firefighters are going to have a battle on their hands. So 4th Street in Santa Monica. 4th Street in Santa Monica, on Santa Monica, Sake House, we understand, is the name of the business.
You would think they run out of shoes.
Hopefully, we'll keep an eye on this, of course, and,
you'd think, right?
And see what happens next. Now, we're going to give you an update on that area where we saw the police department firing those less than lethal rounds and tear gas. We're over the top of this just a little bit. Let me get away from it just a little bit here.
Is this guy?
Sorry about this. The helicopter doesn't look straight down very well. I'll move out a little bit. We can see it a little bit better. Okay, it looks like we may have smoke coming out of one of the vents on the roof, which would tell us again that this is an interior fire, sadly. But to give you an update on what we were seeing earlier when we had the police department firing those less than lethal rounds and tear gas at those people, they started moving southbound on Ocean Boulevard, went up to City Hall, tried to kick in some of the windows, and they continued on southbound onto
he tries his shoes on. He goes,
Main Street,
man,
and it looks like they're coming into
I got high arches. You got anything up there that's orthopedic?
It's problematic for the officers because those people had some sort of
man, we're all in orthopedic
shoes. They were
shoes.
kicking in windows, and if they continue
man.
down southbound on Main Street, they're going to come into an area that has boutique hotel, make that boutique stores and upscale restaurants as well. And if you have people trying to kick in windows, there's a lot of windows down there to kick in. So we're going to stay on the scene here right now. Hopefully the fire department will get a handle on this. However, it looks like it is an interior fire. It is growing. We're seeing more smoke right now. Again, this is Sake House right at the corner of Santa Monica and 4th Street in Santa Monica. The good news is we're seeing less smoke right out of the side, more smoke coming out of the top, so it's venting up there. Perhaps firefighters can get the source on this thing and put it out as quickly as it possibly can.
Yeah, there are a lot of flames on the interior of this building, and the firefighters have got a hose going in through, and we can see that the police now have arrived on the scene. When the firefighters first got there, there were a number of people standing outside, unclear who they were, if they were taking part in some of the problems earlier, or they were just people passing by, but they were standing with the firefighters early on, and the protection.
Okay. There's that. And then Chucklehead's still talking. Where the hell is this at? This one is in, Philadelphia. Okay.
Philadelphia right now. There was widespread looting and destruction.
They're burning down a Rite Aid.
Through the morning, and then today,
well played, rioters. Well played.
Do we know what the issue is there right now with some of those violent demonstrators, and why police can't seem to get a grasp of the situation?
Why can't the police get a grasp of the situation? Oh, I don't know. They can't do what they really need to do because it'll get real quick.
At how destructive things have gotten so quickly. The mayor says there is a curfew in place right now. He's urging people to stay home.
Is that the one in Minneapolis, or is that
in place until early tomorrow morning? We have seen these images of violence in Philadelphia. Officers being thrown bricks, Molotov cocktails. It has gotten very violent there in the city. We do know that tonight the National Guard is expected to arrive to help law enforcement contain the situation there in Philly. Tom.
All right, Stephanie Ramos reporting from Lower Manhattan tonight for us. Stephanie, we thank you for that.
Okay, that picture's in Lower Manhattan.
Angeles now. Mayor Eric Garcetti issuing an immediate curfew there in the middle of the day. That after days of unrest. Take a look at this. It's an LAPD kiosk in a popular shopping center. It's been set on fire. Now today, business owners and volunteers working to take back their city, cleaning up after nights of unrest. While confrontations continue in other neighborhoods. At this hour, ABC's Matt Gutman with the latest from Los Angeles.
Tonight, Beverly Hills boarded up. A daytime curfew in effect as Los Angeles reels from protests and spasms of looting sprawled across the city.
Yeah, this flat screen is for George Floyd. What? Come on.
We walk involved in those demonstrations, stretching from downtown LA to Beverly Hills, 13 miles.
She has a nice rack.
Some skirmishing at police blockades.
So they're starting to fire. Using shotguns to fire what appear to be pellets or beanbags.
This man stepping into blasts of shotgun pellets to put out a burning police cruiser.
You were just putting out the fire.
I was trying to.
Why are you doing that?
It's not the point, man. It's not the point at all.
What's the point?
Absolutely.
The point is that we all know.
What Koof said here is the Democratic governors are trying to do as little as possible in hopes that it'll force Trump to act, and then they will be able to call him a
Heading to the
dictator.
very heart of
Yeah.
privilege, Beverly Hills.
100%. Also, I think he's labeling Antifa a terrorist organization today,
Drive, another
which
standoff.
is a long time coming.
As dusk fell, the looting picked up, but far from those protests.
There's an active looting going on here at the CVS. They've just blasted right through this window.
This frenzy of looting at a Beverly Hills mall. But beyond the shattered glass, organizers hope their message remains.
I want the police to come to an agreement with us to give us the same opportunity to have the same protection from them that white Americans have.
Oh, for Christ's
sake. All right, Matt Gutman joins us now live.
You ding-dong. Okay, here's what's going on in Philadelphia. Walking in the middle of the street. Not smart. Oh. You see in the right-hand corner at the City Hall in Santa Monica, there's a car that's on fire. Because, you know, setting cars on fire is honoring the memory of George Floyd. Holy crap. Why? Why? Because I'm mad. Okay. And jeez. Yo, dog, I'm mad. All right. Stay mad.
Police officers trying to clear Ocean Avenue right on the beach. Protesters wouldn't move. They fired a lot of rounds of tear gas. The wind just brought it all to us, and we all got smoked out because of it. People were retching. So a massive amount of deployment right here. It's unclear where this is going.
Yo, dog.
We believe that this is going to continue all night
Hook 'em
long.
horns.
Very chaotic situation still right now, Tom.
Matt, I want to ask you, in Philadelphia, just hearing from people who were in the city last night.
Hands full in that part of our community tonight. But the focus right now, for the most part, the larger groups are here in the Santa Monica area. And we've also heard Huntington Beach had some problems today. They had protesters actually on both sides of the issue down there, going at each other on the streets down there. But
Santa Ana last night had quite a bit of problems in Orange County. We're hearing that Whittier might be an area not to have problems, hopefully, but that's another staging area for a protest. There will be other protests in many communities and cities throughout Southern California for the rest of the night tonight, and we're just hoping that everybody stays peaceful.
Yeah, it's unclear just how effective.
Does this look like peaceful to you there, buddy? I don't think so. But I mean, I could be wrong, right? And Chucklehead, let's just look at her or him or whatever. Look at the faces this person's making. Her. Do you really need to make those faces? I mean, come on. Seriously? Knock it off. What the hell? Lady, sir, or other, come on, man. You're laying this on way too thick. I know this is your your day to shine while you're, getting your 15 minutes of fame, but come on, man. Be cool.
Northbound lanes of I-35, and they appeared to be taunting the police officers who've been lined up there. At one point, several people appeared to approach the officers who were lined up in the far lanes, and then on the southbound side, the side closest to where I'm standing now, closest to the screen, those officers then sprinted towards the wall, and that is when the protesters, they ran up the ramp. And I want to show you, if we can, off in the distance, you can see them there on the the on-ramp there. Many of them, they have signs, and I can't tell what those signs are saying, but I did see them on when they were in the lanes.
Yeah, Wars, Peace, rioters, or protesters.
Something that we often have seen at these demonstrations.
Or when I think it was the Washington Post when al-Baghdadi was killed, they said,
but that's what I've seen. And so Tom,
a austere religious leader, died today.
And as you know,
I was like, wait, what? Austere religious leader? You mean terrorist? Yeah.
Covering these demonstrations, there have been times when a number of the protesters have taken off running, or they've been taunting the police officers, and so that is what we're seeing right now as we continue to work to get more information about the truck driver that was seen on that video, appearing to barrel down the interstate in the middle of this massive demonstration, a peaceful demonstration through the streets of downtown Minneapolis. And they are astonishing.
Here's a shot in Dallas.
The crowd of people running to get out of the way of that truck. The truck stops, and we understand that the driver was taken to the hospital and with non-life-threatening injuries and has been placed under arrest. But Tom, we don't know what kind of charges that driver faces. And in terms of any injuries, we still haven't heard from
I know.
that there
She,
were actually
he,
any,
or miscellaneous is really funny looking.
See,
I mean, just her facial expression. It's like,
back of the pickup truck in the midst of the chaos here, being rushed away to the hospital. But again, no official word on if anyone else was injured here.
But she's real good at charades.
Tom.
Okay, Marcus Moore, you and your crew stay safe as well. We know things will start to get dicey as daylight ends over there. I want to go to Rachel Scott now. She's been covering everything that's been happening in Washington, D.C. and at the White House. Some incredibly violent protests last night. We saw some protests earlier today. Rachel, give us a sense of what's going on there right now.
Hey, Tom, well, protesters are just starting to fill into this area right here in front of the White House. And as you know, this is typically a space where tourists would come, but right now, protesters are filling this area. You see the Secret Service has set up a barrier up there, trying to create some distance between these demonstrators and the gates of the White House. So this is as close as these protesters can get right now. And everyone in this vicinity just received an alert on their cell phone saying that the mayor has imposed an 11 p.m. curfew. That, of course, comes after those violent clashes last night. Buildings set on fire. About 60 Secret Service officers were injured, as well as almost a dozen local officers as well, one even suffering a compound fracture after having rocks thrown at them. The protesters here today say that they are outraged. They say they want to send a message to President Trump in the White House behind me. They were hoping that the president would come out and have some sign of unity, address the American people. They were hoping that would happen yesterday. They were hoping that it would happen today. Tonight, Tom, they say they are still waiting for that message. Tom?
And Rachel, as far as what you think happens later tonight as nightfall begins.
Yeah. We're hoping President Trump will bend to our will. Really? We'll keep wishing for that.
Businesses clean up the mess. People care. I mean, we care about our city. And I think I heard a great person speak from Atlanta. He's a motivator in Atlanta.
Killer Mike.
It's
a fantastic video. Everybody should take a look
and basically,
at that.
Yeah, you should.
Killer Mike?
Really, and he said, why burn your own home down when you can't go back to your home to then be able to go back and organize and communicate and get together and rally?
Right. And he again reiterated that
you're right.
we all
this has
need
nothing
to not
to do
be
with
violent.
Trump.
We're not burning our own home.
That's the thing. I mean, yeah, he is president, so technically he's involved tertiary, I think. But this is state, local, and policing, first and secondary. This is not federal government. Because states, have their own standard operating procedures for police. It's not, the federal government doesn't tell them what to do. So, I don't know.
That boy said, I will cash up you $200 if you shout Trump.
God. You don't want to see that video. I'll tell you what I do. I'm going to in the stream here, but I'll come back on later tonight when it gets really interesting, because right now you see fires and you just see people walking around. So what I'll do is I'll come back on, let's say 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, Central Standard Time. Yeah. So thanks for showing up there, Koof, and all the rest of you people out there watching this. And we'll do it again at 10, 11 Eastern.